Welcome back to the farm. We were going through our old videos and saw one that was labeled Carport Barn, and we had close to 300 likes on it, or 300 views on it, and realized that we actually didn't talk about it. It was just something that was new at that time when we made that particular video. We found some of the plans for this on Pinterest, of course, where there were lots of different variations of what you could do to build a barn, and there were different shacks and sheds or prefab things that you could buy. And one of the ones that I liked and that was most cost effective here was designing a barn from a carport shed. So we shopped around, we found a company that sold the carport, and we got a pretty good deal because it wasn't a third-hand operation. And they came out and they put up our carport for us, and we went on from there. Alright, this property sits on a couple of knolls and hills, and it has a creek bottom in it, and so we had to try to figure out the right spot, the perfect spot to put up our barn. As you can see right before we have a drop off, this is the last level and flat spot, and we wanted it far enough away from the house that we weren't disturbing the animals and they weren't disturbing us. We also wanted to make it a certain size. I wanted to have 2 stalls when we first got started, and we also wanted to make sure it was high enough that the tractor could come in and out. And in addition to having stalls in the barn, I wanted to put the chickens inside. We have a lot of predators in the area. We have a lot of game cameras that have shown wild dogs coming through here, domestic dogs, as well as little foxes, raccoons, and so on. And so I wanted the chickens to be able to go in and inside at night. So we built them an outside run off a hill because there was nothing else we could really put on this hill. We also have the entire side of the barn done in repurposed metal. There used to be, the only outbuilding on this property when we bought it was an old shed, and what metal we could salvage we salvaged, and we did the entire wall on this side of the barn in that recycled metal. And the roof in the front came from the roof of that same building. The roof that covers the stalls also came from that same building.
Alright, so when it came to finishing out the barn, we decided to go the route of saving money. So we repurposed pallets. So as you can see here on the walls beside the door, and then the stall wall there, and also the walls back here, you can see that we used pallets. And pallets are great to work with. They can be a little tricky if you get a bunch of different sizes, but I was fortunate enough to have a source of pallets that they were all pretty much the same size. So we used pallets for that. When it came to framing in the doors, I built the doors, basically just drew a plan down and started building them. We used some fencing hardware here. So we just got a regular privacy fence gate latch here that springs back and locks, and then we have a chain bolt that has been modified to work to lock this door in. We get a lot of wind out here, so we got to have all the support we can get. The hinges are just 4-inch C-channel that I had cut, and then I welded the pipe on there and made the pin so that these doors actually can be taken off if they get damaged or if for some reason we need to. And there's a bolt welded in this side that goes all the way through the structure of the barn with a nut on the back side, kind of like this front side here. Okay, so when we originally built this barn, we only planned for 2 stalls, which is what we have here. Well, after the first breeding season, we realized that we were going to need more stalls because we didn't have anywhere to wean babies, and we wanted to increase our mama goat herd to 4 at the time. So back here on the back of the barn, we had another set of doors like what I built on the front. So what we did is we took those doors off and we built 2 more stalls back here. And so we gave us double the stall capacity. They're not quite as big as the other stalls, but they're perfect for baby goats and for mama goats because we have miniature animals. The gates on this right here, these are a custom built gate that I built with latches and everything that just work like a regular gate, but they fit the hole, and we saved a lot of money. I've got maybe $30 in material in this gate versus these gates over here that are smaller that you can go down and buy at Tractor Supply or Orscheln's or Atwood's, and these gates are about $75. So we saved a lot of money by building our own gates right there. That's also why we build our own gates everywhere else on the property, because we save a lot of money by just building our own gates, and we have custom sized gates.
Alright, I also use pallets to build my chicken coop. Most of them I broke down so that I could fill in the gaps between the pallets where they had missing boards. But I also wanted to utilize the space above. And so we framed this in up top as well. We've just got some flat board on the top so we can put some of our supplies and some of the things we're not using all the time up there. Just bought a typical little garden door from Lowe's. We built an exit door so they could go out to the run. Oh, we got a chicken in here. And the rest of it I just made out of scraps. But we were able to close it in, frame it in, and we put up this poultry netting to protect them from anything else. It's cold right now, so we got a heat lamp that shines on their roosting sticks so that they can stay warm at night.
And as you look up here, you can see in the pallet wall all the chicken doo-doo, because chickens actually get up in here and they roost overnight. So you gain more spots to store chickens.
Using pallets.
Using pallets.
One of the great things about using a carport, also using pallets, is you can custom how you want your barn to lay out. We have kickouts on this side because this is where the level is. If we had more, we could probably kick out on both sides. You don't have to come off the back, but you know that's more flat space for us when we had to kick out the back. It's really great to be able to design the layout that you want for whatever it is you're trying to do in your barn.
It's hard to see today because the sky is cloudy and it's kind of gloomy and it blends in with the roof, but the roof on the back here is 2 different colors. The reason being is my local metal supply store that I use, they sell sheet metal that's cut off. They call it rainbow sheeting, so you kind of get whatever color they have in the stack. And that's another way that we've been able to save money on this project, by finding deals like that. Eventually we'll go back and we'll paint it all one color, but for now it is multiple colors. Same thing with the back, we just haven't got around to painting it yet, but eventually it will all be painted the same color, and where the chickens are as well. Okay, so we have electricity in our barn, but right now it is not permanent electricity, it's just temporary. And the reason for that is to run power out here the proper way underground, we have to come all the way across our property. And eventually that will come from my shop, will tie into that. But right now I don't have a shop, and we don't want to go and trench a line in and then have to dig it up and start all over again when we figure out what we're going to do with my shop and all that fun stuff. So we just got a long extension cord that runs from my shipping container that I'm using as a shop right now all the way over here. Now all this right here is hardwired in. It is all ground fault protected because it's plugged into a GFCI at the building, and we got a GFCI here on the heat lamp. We got a light switch for the lights, and then eventually we'll put all the rest of this in permanently.
Another great thing about using pallets on your walls is all the things that you need to hang. So over here I've got my feeders and other things that can clip off and hang. Sometimes you just throw a screw through and you can hang all the stuff you need to hang. You can even put fixtures up and all that kind of stuff. Over here I've got my shelves. Again, these are reclaimed. These are donated by my father-in-law. But I'm able to put lots and lots of stuff up because these are pallets. Paper towels, those are my tools. Got some care. Got my band-aids, first aid kits. Just powering up my DeWalt. Alright, over here on this side is where I keep my tack, my tool bag, some extra fencing supplies, extra screws because I like to rearrange things every now and again. Got all my stuff tucked up, got all my stuff hanging. But using pallet walls is quite handy. I really like the ease of use.
Okay, so that is our carport barn. Hopefully between the video and the slideshow that we'll put in here, you kind of get an idea of what we went through. So now what you're probably thinking is how much does it cost? This particular carport is a 18 by 21, so it's 18 foot wide, 21 foot long, and we've got it with the 9-foot ceilings. So it's 9 foot to the bottom of the curve. So it makes it like 12 foot in the center. And like Leah said earlier, we did that so that the tractor could come in and out of here with no big deal. You've seen in our intro video where we drove an excavator through here, so that's what's helpful. So the carport itself was right around $1,400, and then you figure in that we saved a lot of money on pallets, so that's all just labor and time. We've got probably 24 sheets of plywood total in here. And today's plywood costs are way different than when we built this, so I can't give you a price on that. We've got some money in the metal in the back on the roof. The metal on the roof in the front is reclaimed, and a bunch of the wood, the 2x4s, is reclaimed as well. The entire back wall is reclaimed metal, so we didn't have any cost in that. We've got about $40 in the gravel in the floor here. That was one dump trailer load, so that was about $40. And then the lights that we have in here were actually donated to us by a co-worker that I work with. And then we bought the door for the chicken coop. And then everything else is pretty much just what we had laying around and reclaimed. So all in all, if I had to put a price on it, we've got about $2,200 in our barn. And it works out wonderful for us. It works out great for everything that we're doing. We've had cows in this barn. We've got goats in here now, so it really works. And it's a great way for a homesteader to save a lot of money rather than trying to build a barn from scratch. So hopefully, if you're researching and you stumbled across this video, this will help you out with what you're trying to do. If not, hopefully you learned a little something. Anyway, so we appreciate you watching the video. We're going to start trying to put out some more videos for you guys and try to get more involved with YouTube and filming things. So keep checking back regularly, and we'll see what we can put together. We got some big fencing projects coming up, and we're going to build a driveway out here to the barn. And then here in the spring, we're gonna start putting in our garden, and we'll have a tiller to review for tractors and all kinds of cool stuff. So check back again. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.